Thank you, and I'm back here, Chad Schott with Drumz-R-Guru-Ven. I am wanting to show you the difference between these bamboo shaft gourd drums, the natural goat skin, and artificial heads. Artificial heads are polycarbonate. These vellum type goat skin heads are the natural, and I'm going to demonstrate the difference in sound that each one makes. And the first thing I'd like to show the viewers out there is this drum weighs less than a pound. So, you know, that's the cool thing about it. These drums are so light that you can hold them in non-traditional ways. And what I'd like to demonstrate to you all today is the different ways that these things can be played. So, as I was just starting off in the intro, you know, you can place it between your knees. And the style of this drum is modeled after a doumbek. And I used to be a ceramic drum maker. But the problem with ceramic drums, they only have one life if they're dropped. These drums like this, they're so light that if they're dropped or kicked around, it doesn't really matter. They're so light that their integrity is stronger than the weight of them falling on themselves. So that's why I give the lifetime warranty and the guarantee. So basically, the tones that you'll get is that when you pop the center, you get the doom. Boom, boom, boom. The edge is a tech. And then you also have a tock, where you press down in the center of the head. So doom. So that's a demonstration on how this drum is played, and you kind of just got to hear the tonality of it. And since I'm doing that rhythm, I would like to just go over to the synthetic head drum and play that same exact rhythm so you can hear how the synthetic head sounds. These have a little bit more ring. They have a tinnier tone to them. And since I've got this drum, I want to show the different ways I like to hold these drums. And I haven't done a tutorial on this yet, but the way that I like to hold these drums is when I'm at a drum circle or if I'm playing for somebody. What I like to do is learn to get a tech from your middle finger on the edge. And when I first learned that technique, it took me about 3 months. So basically, you learn to get that middle finger, tech, 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 tech. So if you learn to do that, kind of tilt the drum, throw your elbow to where it's vertical, and you're kind of holding it like that with the palm of your thumb, and you get and then you can add all the dooms and the techs with your other hand. So it sounds like this. And then you can also put it under your elbow, which this way is real comfortable. It's basically the same technique. Really not much difference. It's more like you're driving the drum around. It's a little bit easier to control it this way, but it's basically the same. So now I'm going to demonstrate the same thing, the same type of drumming with the goat skin. So that's the two different types of bamboo shaft drums. We have the polycarbonate, artificial head, and the vellum goat skin. So these are both cosmic drums with the fabric patterns that Ann White was able to share with me. So that is those. Now we're going to go to the natural goat skin. This is, before I do that, I don't think I mentioned the size of these drums. This drum here is a 10-inch head with, from here to here is 18 inches long. And this one has a 9-inch head, and it's the same length. So it's an 18-inch long drum. So again, they both weigh less than a pound, and they can be played any way you want to. Now, you can play 2 drums at one time if you want to, like a that's kind of a good way to play that. Now I'll move on to the goat skin natural. Now I like these gourd drums because you can do that same tech where you learn to do that on the actual gourd. Notice how these aren't as bassy. And if you're wanting bass, then the bamboo shaft is the way to go. But if you like that kind of more Middle Eastern tone, so that's a way to play that. But if you noticed, I was taking the drum and doing like a wah-wah effect. And it's pretty neat because you can throw the sound with these drums. You can also do this technique where you just do a... So that's the gourd drum. And again, this drum weighs less than a pound too. And it's epoxied on the inside and out. So pretty much it's waterproof all the way up to the top of the head. And it's sanitizable too. You could take an antibacterial wipe or just take like a dish soap rag that's been wrung out really well and just wipe the whole drum down. You don't want to get it sopping wet. You just wipe it down like you're doing dishes. And so that's that style. Now with the polycarbonate artificial head on a natural gourd drum, sounds like this. So this drum is pretty much waterproof all the way around, and it's sanitizable. These are great for environments like if you're going to schools or visiting people in nursing homes or anything like that. This drum can be sanitized completely. Now, there's one thing I have to mention right off the bat. If you're really wondering like, oh, I'm a drum circle kind of person. Well, polycarbonate headed drums do not like cold weather. So please don't play these drums in temperatures below 40 degrees because the heads will crack, and the polycarbonate can't handle freezing temperatures because plastic gets brittle at freezing temperatures. So if you're thinking about, oh, I want a drum where I can play in North Dakota in the wintertime outside by a fire, don't get one of these drums. You're still way better off with the goat skin. But if you're like, I want to, I live by the beach, and it's the coast, it's the East Coast or the West Coast, and those waves come crashing. Well, you're going to want a polycarbonate drum, because the mist from the ocean is not going to affect the head. And whatever this drum sounds like, it will always sound like that. And if you ever accidentally bust your head, or somebody pops it with a pencil, or dogs don't like these types of drums, so that's really cool. So if you got like a dog that eats everything in the house that's got goat skin or anything like that on it, then I wouldn't go with a goat skin drum. I'd go with the polycarbonate, because this is no different than anything else plastic that you have in your house. So this is a drum that I would use for that. And yeah, the polycarbonate is the way to go if you live by the beach and just wet weather camping. If you want to go camping and you leave a goatskin drum out in the rain because you had a lot of fun and you just went to your tent and you passed out and then a thunderstorm came through, odds are that goatskin head's going to peel right off. Polycarbonate drum, you wouldn't have to worry about it. You'd be ready to drum that next morning. And if you want to drum in the rain, this is the drum to go with. If you're in a super humid atmosphere where things are always changing, you're better off with a polycarbonate head. So these drums right here are, again, weigh less than a pound. The diameter head on this drum is about 10 inches, and it's probably 12 to 13 inches tall. And the reason why this one had more bass than this one is because it has a smaller hole, and that smaller hole creates more bass in the gourd. And also, we're dealing with two different sized drums. So again, I'll play the two together. So that is my demonstration on different techniques, the difference between the two drums, and I hope that I've answered any questions that someone might have. Again, if you're on the fence about ordering an instrument from me, please do, because you're supporting my art, you're supporting a vision, and you're bringing music into a family of people that, it's great to bring vibration, and something that if a kid were to accidentally drop a drum on their toe, then you don't have anything to worry about. These drums are just fine. They're not going to hurt the child's toe. They weigh less than a pound. And you saw me drop these drums onto a concrete floor, but there was some mat right here below. And they're just going to keep on playing, because gourds are very durable. And being coated with epoxy on the inside and out, I've seen them take crazy falls through my lifetime of making these. I've heard stories and I've got tons of feedback. So these things are very durable. And in closing, I'd just like to pound out one more little rhythm for you folks and say thank you again. And thank you once again. I really appreciate you supporting Drumz-R-Guru-Ven.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
The sound, the doom sound, just the room. Really,
all right.
really makes it.
So we'll do a rain stick demo